Okay. Um, to be continued with, we'll be looking at conditional statements. So in JavaScript, we have so conditional statements are um, statement to check before performing a start is a statement that checks a particular condition before performing a task. So if the condition is true, then it performs a certain condition, and you can even perform a certain condition if the condition is false. Do you get it? So in JavaScript, we use if statement to check if something is true or not. You can check if 1 is equal to 2. Is 1 equal to 2? No, 1 is not equal to 2. So that is going to return what? That's going to return false. That's going to return false. For instance, if I should say if if now this is the syntax. If and then the condition. So what is the condition? What are we trying to check? We are trying to check if 1 is the same thing as 2. Now there is difference between assigning and comparing. You see, when you are assigning a value to a variable, you are using the assignment operator. So this is an assignment operation where you are assigning the right hand side to the left hand side, right? So you use what? You use the assignment um, operator. But if you are checking, if you are comparing in JavaScript, you use double equal to sign. Now it turns out that there are two ways to compare in JavaScript. There is this shallow comparing and there is a deep comparing. The second comparing is going to compare deeply. It's going to compare deeply. Okay, there is something called like in JavaScript, this is a way we compare things, right? Like you can compare two and two, and then it will print the result. It will print either true or false if it is the same or not. Now we can see that we are comparing this integer 2 and this string 2 because they are both 2. Then JavaScript is telling us that they are the same, but in the right sense they are not, because this is an integer and the other one is a string. So there is a way you can explicitly check if the two sides are the same. That is by using the three equal to sign. So this is going to explicitly check if they are the same or not. So this is going to return false because they are not the same. This is an integer while this is a string. So but if this happens to be integer also, then it prints true. Then it prints true, right? So this is the same technique we are using in the if statement. So you pass in the condition. So you pass in the condition, and then so we are going to check the condition. So if the condition is true, that is, if the condition returns true, then it's going to do this. It's going to do whatever that we put inside here. Do we get it now? So let me kind of declare the condition variable. Let me assign it to this. right? So what I'm doing here is that instead of writing the condition aside here, I'm writing it here so that it will be clear to everybody. We've already seen what this is returning, right? This is returning true, which means this condition at this time is what? True. So the if condition is going to check if this condition is true. That's what it means. If this condition is returning true, then do this. But if it's returning false, it's not going to do anything. So let's say we want it to alert. Yes. See, the slash slash is the way to write comments in JavaScript. This is the way we write comments in JavaScript. Just like in HTML we have comments, in CSS we have comments. So this is the way we write comments in yes. It will not do anything. If it's false, yeah, we are still coming back to that. We are still going to that. So then we want it to alert that yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Right? Now let's test this out and see what it's going to do. You see, it alerts that yes, it's true. So let's be using the console instead of using alert. Right? So it's going to log to the console that yes, it is what is true. Right? Now it turns out that there is a way you can check it the other way round. Like now we are checking if it is true, right? But by putting an exclamation mark at the beginning of the condition, then you are saying if this condition is false, not you see exclamation mark in programming stands for not, right? In any program. So even if you want to check if 2 is not equal to 2, then what do? You instead of doing equal to, just do not equal to. Do you get it now? So exclamation mark being in front in programming stands for what? Not. Not. You can have greater than. So this would mean like not greater than or something. So the not is the exclamation mark there is the one standing in as not. So the not plus equal to is then going to result to as not equal to. So if this if this is not equal to, if this is not returning true, you see this will return true, but what we want, we are going to log this to the console only if this condition is what? False. But in our case, this condition is true. So it's not going to log anything to the console when we refresh the page. When you see that, it won't log anything to the console. So but let's try and make the condition false by saying 2 equal to 5. Is 2 equal to 5? No. So so it's going to return true because the condition is what? False. So it also turns out that we have an else statement. You know, one of the example of what we can use this for is to check if a door is closed or not. So if the door is closed, then we want to do so if the door close condition is true, then if the condition is true, hold on. So if the condition is true, we want to do this. But what if we also want to do another thing if the condition is not true? There will be a situation where you would want to do other things. Like if you are going to calculate a if you are going to to check if number is even or not even, right? The way you check it is by dividing the number by 2, and then if the remainder is equal to 0, then it is even. So you want to check if it is even or odd, which means if you divide the number by 2 by 2 and the remainder is equal to 0, then you say that's the condition is true, right? Then it prints that okay, the number is even. But if that condition is not true, I also want to print that the condition is not true. How am I going to do that? That's where the else statement comes in. That's where the else statement comes in. The else statement does not take any condition. Does not take any condition because it's just something that would, it's just like a backup, something that will happen if that condition is not true. So if condition here is not true, then I want to say that no, it is what? False. Do you get the logic now? So if the condition is not true, we if the condition is true, we print that yes, it is true. And if the condition is not true, we say no, it is not. Right? Yes, it is. No, it's not. Okay, so now this error we are seeing here is what I've explained before. So if you are using double quotes, you can't use double quotes in the middle again. I see, but now I'm using single quotes and I have to put this apostrophe here, right? So how am I going to do this? There are two ways to do this. Is either I change this into a double quote, I change this to double quote, I change this also to double quote, then it's fixed. But it turns out that there's another way I can do this. I can just use something called escaping. I can just escape this. I can just escape this. But
It's going to say
as well,
like it's going to
yes,
show
yes, it's going to show without this backslash. It's going to show normal without this backslash. But then imagine you have a lot of things like this. You don't want to be putting backslash every time. So there is an ultimate solution for this, which is using this backtick, which is using backtick. So you don't need to, so even if you're going to have a quote within your, you know, within your text, everything still works fine. Do you get it now? So you can use backtick in JavaScript, which makes it a little more easier to do. So do we understand it now? So this is else statement. Now let's see what will happen to the condition. So the condition is false as we saw, as we said here, the 2 is not equal to 5, right? So the condition is false. So it's saying what? No, it's not. So it's not doing anything that is inside here. Instead of that, it's jumped and then come to the else statement. Now, the last one we have on a conditional statement is the if else. That is the one that would run another condition if the first condition is not true. Now we can
the one
have,
that
yes, a condition that, like, the if else statement checks if, I mean the else if, rather the else if, I think I wrote if else, the else if, the else if statement. So the else if statement is going to check if if this first condition is not true, else check this other condition too. Condition condition two. That one is condition one, this one is condition two. Now if condition two is
The one down.
you said you can name it anything now, you understand, just use of variables. So condition two is that okay, we want to check if two is equal to five, then but two is not equal to five, right? So it's going to come to this condition two. It will only come to this condition two if condition one is what? False. But if it is correct, there is no need for it to come to condition two at all. So nothing here would work. It won't come here at all. So if condition one is false, then it's going to come here now and check for condition two. So let's say condition two is to check, okay, if two is not equal to five. Now let's check if five is equal to five. Five is equal to five, then it's going to print here that what? That exam, right? So it's going to print this. It's going to print this to the console that okay, the number is actually five. That is, five is actually equal to five. Now let's see the results to that. So it's printing this because firstly it's to check if two is equal to five, which is false. Then it came here to now check again if five is equal to five, which is correct, and then it prints this. Now what if five is not equal? What if the second condition is if three is equal to five? Now what would happen? This would do what? This will return false, right? This will return false. Then we will have to add in an else statement. Else statement doesn't take condition. So add an else statement, then the else statement is going to then print no, it's not. You get it now? So it's going to check the first condition is false, check the second condition is false, and then later results into no, it's not. Now we can add multiple else if statements. Do you get it now? You can add multiple else if statements. But instead of adding multiple else if statements, there is another kind um, of conditional statement called case switch. So case switch is going to switch every time the case is not the this thing. If the case is not what we want, then it switches to another one. So it works like the else if. So for this class, we just stop at the else if, and yeah, we just
That
stop at this else
is it
if.
if else or else if?
Else you've already seen it here. If else was a mistake, so it's else if. And don't forget that I said you can have multiple else if, that you can check okay, what if this second condition too is not correct, then we want to check for the third condition. Now the way you can use this is to check if today is Sunday. Now you can be passing in the date. Okay, check the date. Check the date. Is the date equal to Monday? It says no. Check the date else. If today is equal to Tuesday, if okay, it's going to check the condition, like okay, I can't get like an example for it, but there's a way you can check for date with an else if statement, or probably the this almighty formula in mathematics. Like you want to check if b, I think the b is called something, like if that number is greater than zero, then they will tell you that it has root, right? If it is less than zero, then they'll tell you that it has irrational root. And if the stuff is equal to zero, then they'll tell you that it has what? Equal root. You still remember the lesson. So you can use the else if statement to check something like that. Okay, so I guess that's it. Yes, that's it. So the assignment would be that you should try to create something with this if statement. Just write something. No need to write code. Just write something that you will use if statement to solve. Just write it in words. Just write it in words. Just write it down and post it on the WhatsApp group.